In a bustling shopping mall filled with laughter and holiday cheer, a sudden tension fills the air as a young black woman finds herself at the center of an unimaginable event. Picture this: a mother, simply trying to enjoy a day out with her daughter, browsing through the latest fashion trends and sharing moments that should be filled with joy. Instead, she is confronted by a swarm of security personnel, their expressions grave as they surround her. The shouts echo, and her daughter's innocent eyes widen in confusion and fear. What unfolds next will leave you stunned. This isn't just another story of misunderstanding. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly a day can spiral out of control. The mother, with hopes of bonding and making memories, never anticipated that her simple outing would turn into a nightmare. As she stands there, her heart races, torn between defending herself and protecting her child from the chaos erupting around them. The atmosphere thickens with disbelief as bystanders whip out their phones, capturing the scene that feels almost surreal. You can see the emotions playing across her face: fear, confusion, and a flicker of anger as she tries to understand why this is happening to her. The daughter, bewildered and scared, clings to her mother's side, not fully comprehending the gravity of the situation. In that moment, the mother's instinct to shield her child from harm kicks in. She tries to speak, to explain, but her words are drowned out by the commotion. The questions swirl in the air like a storm. Why her? What could possibly justify this public humiliation? The spectators, too, are drawn into the scene, their expressions a mixture of shock and disbelief. As the security team continues to press on, something becomes clear. This incident isn't just about one mother and her daughter. It touches on broader themes of race, justice, and societal perceptions. People begin to murmur among themselves, debating what they see, wondering if they're witnessing an injustice unfold before their very eyes. Social media begins to buzz with the hashtag #JusticeForHer, sparking outrage and calls for accountability. But just when it seems like the situation couldn't get any more tense, the unexpected happens. An ally emerges from the crowd, someone who has been quietly observing, waiting for the right moment to step in. With a powerful voice, this stranger challenges the authority of the security personnel, demanding to know the reasons for the arrest. The crowd shifts, their eyes now fixed on this new player in the unfolding drama. In that pivotal moment, the mother feels a surge of hope. Could this stranger be the key to turning the tide? Could they help her and her daughter escape this harrowing ordeal? Yet, with the clock ticking and the security team's resolve hardening, uncertainty looms. Will this unexpected ally succeed in making a difference, or will the injustice continue unchecked? As the scene intensifies and emotions flare, we're left hanging in the balance, uncertain of what will happen next. Will the truth come to light, or will the silence be deafening? The stakes couldn't be higher as the story unfolds, raising critical questions about race, justice, and the lengths one will go to protect their family. Stay tuned, because the next chapter in this unbelievable tale is just around the corner, and you won't want to miss what happens next. As the crowd murmurs, the tension in the air thickens. The young woman, still caught in the grip of fear, glances at her daughter, whose small hand remains tightly clasped around hers. They had arrived at the mall with excitement, planning a day filled with shopping and laughter. The bright decorations and cheerful holiday music had welcomed them, a stark contrast to the storm brewing around them now. With every passing moment, the reality of the situation presses down heavier, and she struggles to process what is happening. In the back of her mind, thoughts race. She remembers the stories she'd heard about other families, mothers and fathers wrongfully accused or mistreated. She had never thought it would happen to her. Her mind drifts to her own upbringing, filled with lessons on how to navigate a world that often seemed stacked against her. Stay calm, her mother always said. Speak clearly. Don't give them any reason to see you as a threat. But in this moment, those words feel distant and almost impossible to grasp. The crowd around her has shifted from passive observers to an eager audience, their phones capturing her reality as if it were some twisted spectacle. The stranger who stepped forward, the one who called out to the security personnel, stands resolute, embodying a strength that seems to ripple through the crowd. It's as if their presence has ignited a spark of defiance among the onlookers. Whispers of support begin to ripple through the throng. What's going on? This isn't right. Voices rise, filled with anger and disbelief, and she can feel the momentum shifting slightly in her favor. Yet, in the depths of her heart, she questions whether this will be enough. The security personnel, still blocking her path, maintain their stoic expressions, perhaps unwilling to back down. Their authority looms large, and she senses that they are accustomed to exerting power without question. The head of the team, a tall, imposing figure, leans forward, speaking to the crowd. This is a matter of security. You're all advised to step back. His voice is authoritative, but something in the way he carries himself suggests a flicker of uncertainty as he glances momentarily at the growing crowd. Maybe he realizes that this situation isn't as clear-cut as he had hoped. Her daughter, sensing the change in atmosphere, looks up at her with wide, innocent eyes, filled with confusion and fear. "Mommy, why are they taking you away?" The words pierce through her, a reminder of her responsibility as a parent to protect her child. She kneels down, meeting her daughter's gaze, whispering reassuringly, "I don't know yet, baby, but I'm going to be okay. Just stay close." It's a promise she hopes to keep, even as doubts swirl around her like a tempest. As the chaos unfolds, she recalls the events leading up to this moment. They had been in the mall for just a few hours, enjoying the holiday atmosphere. After a quick bite to eat, they wandered into a trendy clothing store filled with colorful outfits and shimmering accessories. It was in that moment of joy, surrounded by laughter and shopping bags, that a feeling of unease crept in. She had noticed a security guard watching her closely, his eyes never straying too far from her and her daughter. At first, she brushed it off as paranoia. But as they browsed, the guard's gaze felt more invasive, almost accusatory. It sent shivers down her spine. Still, she tried to push through the discomfort, wanting to enjoy their day. But now, with the full weight of the situation crashing down, she can't shake the feeling that those earlier moments were a prelude to something far more sinister. Meanwhile, the crowd is growing, voices rising in support for her. Bystanders have shifted from passive spectators to vocal advocates, demanding answers. What did she do? Let her go. Their solidarity fuels her hope, but the palpable fear of escalation hangs heavy in the air. Will the security team respond to this growing support, or will they dig their heels in, determined to maintain control over the situation? Suddenly, the stranger steps forward again, facing the head of the security team. You can't just arrest someone without cause. This is a public space. Their voice resonates, strong and unwavering. The words draw nods of agreement from the crowd, and she feels a flicker of warmth, a reminder that in a world that can often feel isolating, there are those willing to stand up for what's right. The security team, caught off guard by the unexpected backlash, exchanges uneasy glances. The head guard tightens his jaw, visibly frustrated. We're following protocol. This is a private matter. But the crowd isn't buying it. The atmosphere shifts again, as voices rise in chorus, demanding justice, and the pressure mounts. Her heart races as she realizes that this might be her only chance to escape this situation with her daughter. But what if this only escalates? What if the authorities show up, ready to drag her away, not caring about her side of the story? With that thought lingering, she gathers her courage. Please, listen. I haven't done anything wrong. Her voice, though shaky, breaks through the noise. The crowd quiets momentarily, and she can feel their attention shift back to her. I just wanted to enjoy a day with my daughter. Tears prick her eyes, and she wipes them away, unwilling to show weakness. Please, don't let this be the end of our day. The head of security narrows his eyes at her, his expression hardening. We've received reports about suspicious activity. You're being detained until we can clarify the situation. His words strike like a blow, and she feels the walls closing in. What could those reports possibly entail? The unknown gnaws at her, twisting her stomach into knots. Just as the crowd begins to react again, a commotion breaks out at the mall entrance. The unmistakable sound of sirens pierces the air, and her heart sinks. Panic sets in as she realizes the authorities are on their way. Will they see her as a victim or a suspect? She can already envision her daughter's terrified expression as they haul her away, and the thought is unbearable. "Stay strong, baby," she whispers, hoping to shield her daughter from the dread creeping into her mind. She can feel her daughter's small body trembling beside her, and it fuels her determination. She won't let this define them. No matter what happens, she'll fight to ensure her child knows the truth. As the sirens grow louder, the crowd begins to part, creating a path for the police vehicles. A knot of anxiety tightens in her chest. How will she explain this to her daughter? Will anyone believe her? The uncertainty is maddening, and it feels like a noose tightening around her neck. She can only imagine the headlines, another story about a black woman caught in the system, struggling to find her voice in a world that often silences it. Suddenly, the police officers arrive, stepping out of their vehicles with an air of authority. The atmosphere shifts once more as they assess the scene, scanning the crowd before their eyes land on her. She stands frozen, heart racing, her mind racing even faster. Will they listen to her story, or will they take her away, compounding the injustice? The stranger who had intervened earlier moves closer, addressing the officers. "You need to hear her side of the story. She hasn't done anything wrong." Their voice rises above the growing murmur of the crowd, a clarion call for justice that echoes through the mall. The officers pause, seemingly weighing their next move, while she fights to keep her composure, hoping against hope that her words will resonate with them. But as the first officer steps forward, their demeanor is cold and unyielding. "Ma'am, we need you to come with us for questioning." The words hang in the air, heavy with finality, and her heart sinks. They don't see her. They don't see the mother, the person, the human being, caught in a web of circumstance. Instead, she feels like a suspect, an outsider in her own life, facing a system that seems bent on punishing rather than understanding. The mother's thoughts swirl as she struggles to process everything. "I'm just a mom," she thinks, "trying to protect my daughter." She takes a deep breath, gathering her strength. "I'm not going anywhere without my daughter," she asserts, feeling a surge of adrenaline. The weight of her words hangs in the air, a desperate plea, not just for herself, but for every parent who has ever faced an unfair system. The officers exchange glances, and in that brief moment, she sees a flicker of hesitation. Could this be the opening she needs? Will they reconsider? But before she can finish formulating her thoughts, her daughter tugs at her hand, eyes wide with fear. "Mommy, please. I want to go home." The innocent plea cuts through her resolve like a knife, and for a moment she falters. The head officer steps closer, their expressions softening slightly as they take in the sight of the frightened child. "I understand this is difficult, but we need to ensure everything is okay," they say, their voice firm yet calm. "We'll keep you together." In that moment, something shifts. The mother steels herself, finding strength in her daughter's presence. "You don't understand," she says, her voice trembling but resolute. "I'm not a criminal. I'm just here with my child, trying to enjoy a day out. We have rights, and you're violating them." The tension crackles in the air as the crowd watches with bated breath, some whispering amongst themselves, others filming the scene. The tension in the mall escalates with every passing second. The mother feels as if the world around her is closing in, the stares from the crowd turning into judgment and fear. The sight of her daughter, visibly shaken, gnaws at her insides like a relentless wave crashing against the shore. She has to protect her child, to shield her from the harsh realities of a world that often overlooks the humanity of people like them. Just as she steels herself to make another statement, hoping to appeal to the compassion of the officers, a commotion breaks out behind the crowd. People begin to murmur, pointing toward the entrance of the mall. The atmosphere shifts again as everyone turns to look. She catches sight of a figure pushing through the throng, a woman with long flowing hair, dressed in a sharp business suit and carrying a briefcase. The woman strides confidently toward the unfolding drama, her heels clicking against the tiled floor, cutting through the tension like a knife. "What's going on here?" the woman asks, her voice commanding and clear. There's a tone of authority in her words that draws the officer's attention. It's as if she's an unexpected wildcard, the presence of someone who knows how to navigate bureaucratic waters. The mother feels a flicker of hope. Maybe this woman can help. "I'm just a mother trying to enjoy a day with my daughter," she implores, gesturing toward her child, whose eyes remain glued to her, filled with trust and fear. They're treating us like criminals without any reason. The woman raises an eyebrow, assessing the scene with keen observation. "I'll handle this," she states firmly, stepping closer to the security personnel. The officers exchange uncertain glances, clearly caught off guard by her sudden appearance. The mother watches with bated breath, her heart racing. Who is this woman? What does she want? The stranger continues, "You need to understand that this is not just about your protocol. You're dealing with human lives here." Her voice carries a weight, echoing the urgency of moment. The officers seem to hesitate, caught between their duty and the undeniable truth that this situation has spiraled beyond mere procedure. The mother feels a surge of gratitude toward this stranger, an unspoken alliance forming in the midst of chaos. The crowd appears to sense the shift as well, a collective breath held in anticipation. "What are you doing?" one of the onlookers whispers to another. "Why are they just standing there?" It's as if the air has thickened with tension, and every eye in the mall is focused on this pivotal moment. Then, without warning, a familiar voice rings out from the back of the crowd. "Hey, you can't just do that." It's the same voice from earlier, the one that had called out against the security guards. The mother turns her head to see a man pushing his way forward, his face a mask of anger. "She's innocent. You're not just going to take her away." The situation teeters on a knife's edge as more people join in. Their voices blend into a cacophony of support and outrage, creating an atmosphere ripe for conflict. The mother's heart races. She feels the ground shifting beneath her, her safety net dissolving. What's happening? She wonders. Why is everyone getting involved? The officers try to regain control, barking orders at the crowd to disperse. "This is a private matter. Back away." But the crowd stands firm, emboldened by the growing sense of injustice. More people gather, filling the mall with a mixture of curiosity and solidarity. The mother can hardly believe what she's witnessing. Is this truly happening? The newcomer, the woman in the business suit, turns her gaze back to the head of the security team, her expression unreadable. "If you proceed with this arrest without proper cause, you're opening yourself up to a world of legal consequences. This is a public place, and there are laws protecting citizens from wrongful detainment." The officers visibly bristle at the mention of legal repercussions. The mother can see doubt creeping into their eyes. Maybe, just maybe, this stranger knows what she's talking about. The crowd seems to sense the shift as well, murmurs of encouragement rippling through. "Stand your ground," someone shouts from the back. Just as it appears, the tide is turning. A sudden explosion of chaos erupts outside the mall. The sound of screeching tires, accompanied by frantic shouting, penetrates the air. Heads turn, confusion rippling through the crowd. The mother squints, trying to see what's happening. Her heart races with dread. Then, just as quickly as it began, everything changes again. Several police cars rush into the parking lot, their sirens blaring, lights flashing. The mother's stomach drops. What now? She thinks, panic creeping in. This situation was already spiraling out of control, and now reinforcements have arrived. As more officers spill from their vehicles, the mother's mind races. What will they do? Will they escalate this further? How will I protect my daughter? She feels her daughter's small hand clutching hers tighter, a lifeline amidst the turmoil. The new officers assess the situation, their eyes scanning the crowd. They seem to be sizing up the tension, trying to gauge the mood. The mother wishes she could read their expressions, hoping for compassion rather than hostility. "Please don't let this turn violent," she pleads silently. But just as the officers appear to be deliberating, the woman in the business suit steps forward once more, her confidence radiating. "This is a mistake. You're about to make a grave error if you proceed with this arrest." Her words slice through the chaos, drawing the attention of the new officers. "Ma'am, step back." One of the newcomers barks, his tone sharp. "You don't have the authority here." She stands her ground, refusing to back down. "And you don't have the right to detain an innocent woman based on assumptions and rumors. This is not a criminal act. This is a mother trying to protect her child." The crowd swells behind her, voices rising in a unified chant of support. The officers are caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, obligated to uphold the law, but also aware that the eyes of the public are upon them, scrutinizing every move they make. In that moment, the mother feels a rush of hope mingled with dread. Could this woman truly be their savior? Or is this just another twist in a story that seems to take her deeper into a nightmare? Then, out of nowhere, a loud crash echoes from the back of the mall. The sound reverberates through the crowd, causing everyone to turn in alarm. A small group of people rushes in, shouting and waving their arms. Over here. They're getting away. The urgency in their voices sends chills down her spine. The mother's heart races as she turns to see what's happening. A commotion unfolds just out of view, and the crowd begins to part again. Panic ensues as people step back, unsure of what to do. What's going on? She wonders aloud, the fear thickening in her throat. Before she can grasp the full scope of the chaos, the original security personnel shifts their focus. They start sprinting toward the new disturbance, leaving the mother momentarily abandoned. No, wait. She calls out, realizing they are leaving her and her daughter vulnerable. But it's too late. The officers dash toward the source of the noise, shouting orders to the crowd to clear a path. The mother feels a surge of anxiety. This is not the time to be ignored, she thinks. Her daughter's grip loosens slightly, and she can see fear reflected in her little eyes. With the security personnel distracted, the woman in the business suit moves swiftly, positioning herself beside the mother. "Stay close to me," she whispers urgently. "We'll get through this." The mother nods, grateful for the woman's presence, but feeling increasingly lost in the chaos unfolding around her. The original security team is caught up in the new disturbance, but she has no idea what it is. "What's happening?" she asks, her voice trembling with fear. The woman shakes her head, scanning the area. "I don't know, but we need to stay vigilant." Her tone is steady, but the mother can sense her own tension. The crowd is restless, shifting and whispering as the chaos unfolds. "What's going on?" someone asks, their voice barely above a whisper. Is it related to her? Amidst the growing chaos, the mother feels a gnawing worry. Are they going to use this distraction to arrest me? The thought terrifies her. Just as she begins to voice her concerns, a loud shout pierces the air. "Stop right there." The new officers, having reached the source of the commotion, confront a group of people who are trying to escape through a side exit. The situation shifts again, and now it's a different kind of fear. "What are they doing?" the mother whispers, her heart pounding in her chest. The crowd watches with a mixture of shock and excitement. The new officers draw their weapons, demanding compliance from those trying to flee. "Put your hands up. You're under arrest." Panic ripples through the mall as people realize the chaos isn't over. The mother grips her daughter's hand tightly, her mind racing with questions. Who are these new individuals? What have they done? And just when it seems like the situation couldn't escalate any further, she spots a figure moving through the crowd, weaving in and out with agility. Her heart skips a beat as she realizes it's a young man, his face partially obscured by a hood. He seems familiar, but in the fray she can't place him. Is he part of this? She wonders, dread creeping into her thoughts. The woman beside her seems to notice too, her brow furrowing as she watches the young man intently. "Stay close," she whispers again, and the mother nods, feeling the weight of uncertainty settle over her. Suddenly, the young man stops, looks directly at the mother, and she sees recognition flicker in his eyes. "You!" he shouts, pointing a finger in her direction. "We have to go now." The command jolts the mother from her thoughts, and she instinctively takes a step back. "What do you mean? Who are you?" But before he can respond, the new officers are upon him, pulling him aside. "You're under arrest." One of them shouts, the authority in his voice, making the mother's heart race with fear for the young man. In that moment, the woman in the business suit lunges forward. "Wait," she yells, catching the attention of the officers. This is not what it seems. The young man struggles against the officers, glancing back at the mother. "They're not who you think they are. You have to trust me." The chaos intensifies as the crowd surges forward, eager to witness the unfolding drama. The officers are overwhelmed, trying to maintain order while ensuring their safety. The mother feels the ground beneath her shifting once again, uncertainty clouding her mind. Who can she trust? She wonders, her heart pounding in her chest. Is this man truly here to help, or is he part of the problem? Just as the situation reaches its boiling point, a loud explosion rattles the air, sending shockwaves through them all. The sound reverberates through the crowd, causing screams to erupt as people rush to escape. The mother feels her breath hitch in her throat as panic reigns. "Get down!" the woman shouts, pulling the mother and her daughter behind a nearby kiosk for cover. The deafening noise seems to reverberate in her ears, drowning out everything else. "Is everyone okay?" she calls out, but her voice is drowned by the chaos. The world around her feels like it's falling apart, uncertainty, spiraling into panic. Time seems to stretch in that moment, the chaos around her blurring into a cacophony of fear and confusion. The mother's heart pounds in her chest as she clings to her daughter, desperately seeking some sense of safety amidst the turmoil. As the dust settles, the mother looks around, her heart racing. The young man is nowhere to be seen, swallowed by the crowd. What just happened? She thinks, her mind racing with the implications of the explosion. The atmosphere thickens with tension, people glancing around in confusion. The officers struggle to regain control, shouting orders, but their voices barely carry over the din. The woman beside her keeps a firm grip on her arm, her eyes scanning the area. "We need to move," she says urgently. "It's not safe here." With adrenaline coursing through her veins, the mother nods, sensing that the situation has escalated far beyond her initial fears. "But where do we go?" she asks, glancing around at the chaos unfolding. "Follow me," the woman urges, and without waiting for a response, she begins to lead the way. The mother has no choice but to follow, her instincts kicking in as she prioritizes her daughter's safety. They weave through the crowd, dodging terrified shoppers and frantic police officers. The noise of chaos surrounds them, a mix of shouts and sirens echoing off the mall walls. Each step feels like a leap into the unknown, but the mother pushes forward, clinging to her daughter's hand as they navigate the sea of bodies. The exit looms ahead, and just as they near it, the woman suddenly stops, turning to face the mother. "We need to be careful. I have a plan, but you have to trust me." The mother's heart races. "A plan? What do you mean?" But before the woman can explain, a sharp scream pierces the air, sending a jolt of fear through the mother. What now? She wonders, dread pooling in her stomach. "Stay here," the woman instructs, her eyes narrowing as she scans the chaos. "I need to get a better look." The mother watches, torn between fear for her daughter and concern for the woman. What if something happens to her? She thinks. But the woman moves quickly, blending into the crowd with an air of purpose. The mother clutches her daughter tightly, feeling the weight of uncertainty press down on her. Time stretches, each passing second, feeling like an eternity. The crowd is a whirlwind of panic, and the mother's heart races as she watches the woman navigate through the chaos, her figure becoming a blur. Will she return? What will happen next? Just as the mother starts to feel overwhelmed by doubt, she spots the young man again, standing at the periphery of the crowd. He's watching her, his eyes filled with urgency. "Come on," he calls out, waving her over. Her heart races with confusion and fear. Should I trust him? Is he here to help? But before she can decide, the woman reappears, her expression grim. "We need to go. Now?" The mother looks back at the young man, caught in a moment of indecision. What do I do? She thinks, torn between two paths. "Come with us," the young man urges, his voice cutting through the chaos. "I can explain everything." Just then, a loud bang echoes through mall, sending waves of panic coursing through the crowd once again. The mother's instincts kick in, and she pulls her daughter close, feeling weight of the moment settle over her like a heavy fog. The woman grabs her arm. "We can't stay here. We need to move." With her heart pounding, mother glances between the two figures, one a mystery, the other a lifeline. I have to choose, she thinks, uncertainty flooding her mind. Finally, the mother makes a split-second decision. "Let's go with her," she says to her daughter, trusting the woman who has stood by her side. Together, they sprint toward the exit, weaving through the crowd as chaos erupts behind them. The sound of shouting and sirens follows, and the mother feels a surge of adrenaline as they escape the tumultuous scene, leaving the uncertainty behind for now. But even as they make their way outside, The weight of the situation hangs heavily in the air. The mother knows this is only the beginning, that the storm is far from over. With every step, she can feel the stakes rising, the danger lurking just out of sight. As they burst into the open air, the mother takes a deep breath, her mind racing with thoughts of what lies ahead. What have I gotten myself into? She wonders, her heart still pounding in her chest. The woman turns to her, her expression serious. We have to get to safety. There's so much more going on than you realize. The mother's pulse quickens. What do you mean? But before the woman can respond, a loud voice calls out from the shadows, making them all freeze. Well, 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 what do we have here? The mother's stomach drops as she recognizes the tone, the voice that had echoed in her nightmares. It's someone from her past, someone she thought she had left behind. The woman beside her stiffens, the tension palpable, as the realization sinks in. Why are you here? The mother demands, anger surging within her. The figure steps forward, revealing a familiar face, a face she once trusted, now twisted with malice. You should have known I'd find you, he sneers, a smirk playing at the corners of his lips. Panic grips the mother's heart as she realizes the truth. This man has been orchestrating everything from the shadows, pulling strings she never even knew existed. What do you want? She asks, her voice trembling. His laughter echoes in the open air, chilling her to the bone. Oh, it's not what I want. It's what you owe me. And with those words, the stakes rise higher than ever before, the conflict escalating into a dangerous game of power and betrayal. The mother knows that she must fight for her daughter, for their future, and for the truth hidden within the chaos. As the confrontation unfolds, she feels a newfound determination building inside her. I won't back down, she vows silently. Not now, not ever. With the stakes higher than ever, the path forward is fraught with danger, and the mother knows she must summon every ounce of strength within her. The journey is far from over, and she's ready to face whatever comes next. The scene is set for an epic showdown, the air crackling with tension as the mother prepares to confront the shadows of her past. Her heart races as she steps into the unknown, ready to reclaim her life and protect her daughter at all costs. The tension in the air felt thick as the mother faced the figure from her past, his presence looming like a dark cloud over her and her daughter. The woman beside her, once a stranger, but now a trusted ally, stood ready to defend them both, her gaze unwavering. We're not afraid of you, the woman said, her voice steady despite the palpable fear. Fear? You should be terrified, he replied, stepping closer, his smirk widening. You have no idea what I'm capable of. But you will, soon enough. The mother clenched her fists, willing herself to stay strong. What do you want from us? She demanded, her heart pounding in her chest. You've already taken so much from me. What more could you possibly want? He leaned in, his breath rancid with menace. It's simple, really. I want what you owe me. You thought you could walk away, but the past always catches up. I've spent years building something powerful, and you're a part of it whether you like it or not. What are you talking about? She asked, confusion lacing her words. Remember that favor you owe me? His eyes glinted with malice. It's time to repay it. Join me, and you'll have power, safety, everything you ever wanted. But refuse, and you'll see just how far I'm willing to go to get what I want. The woman beside her shifted, eyes narrowing. She'll never join you. We won't be a part of your twisted game. The man's smile faded, replaced by a cold fury. You think you're in control? You have no idea how deep this goes. You're nothing but pawns in my game. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the mall's entrance, causing everyone to turn. A group of police officers stormed in, guns drawn, shouting for everyone to get down. The mother felt her heart leap in her throat as they rushed toward her, aiming to restore order. Stay back, the woman shouted, pushing the mother and her daughter behind her. He's dangerous. The police officers were momentarily distracted by the chaos, and the man took advantage of the commotion. We need to go, he shouted, trying to grab the mother's arm, but the woman stepped in front of her, ready to fight. The mother's instincts kicked in. We can't let him take us, she screamed. Run! The woman took the lead, pulling the mother and daughter away from the confrontation, as the officers shouted at the man, attempting to apprehend him. They weaved through the panicking crowd, heart racing, as the noise enveloped them like a storm. The mother glanced back, watching as the man seemed to vanish into the chaos, slipping through the throng of bodies like a shadow. "Where do we go?" the mother gasped, adrenaline surging through her veins. "Follow me," the woman urged, leading them toward an exit. They pushed through the crowd, the fear palpable as they finally burst outside into the fresh air, gasping for breath. As they regrouped outside, the mother felt a moment of relief wash over her. They were away from the chaos, at least for now. But the woman's face was tense. "We're not safe yet," she said urgently. "He'll come after us. We need to keep moving." "What does he want?" the mother asked, her voice trembling. "I don't understand any of this." The woman took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the area. "He's been orchestrating everything for years. He knows things about you, about your past, that you don't even realize. He wants to pull you back into his web of manipulation." "Why?" the mother whispered, her heart sinking as she began to comprehend the depth of the threat they faced. "Because you're key to something bigger, something he's building. You might have a choice in this, whether to fight or to be used." "What do you mean?" The mother's mind raced. "I can't be part of this. I just want to protect my daughter." The woman nodded. "I understand, but you must know the stakes are higher than you think. We need to gather our strength and plan. The more time we spend in the open, the more vulnerable we become." As they ducked into a nearby alley, the mother clutched her daughter tightly. "What do we do now?" "First, we need to get to a safe place. There's an old safe house nearby. We can regroup there." "Will he find us?" the mother asked, her voice quaking. "We'll do everything we can to stay hidden. But we have to move fast." They hurried through the streets, avoiding main roads and staying close to the shadows. The woman led the way, her expression resolute as they made their way to the safe house, a crumbling building that once served as a refuge for those in danger. Once inside, the mother locked the door behind them, her heart still racing. The atmosphere was thick with tension as they settled into the dimly lit space. The woman turned to the mother, her gaze steady. "We need to talk about what's coming. He won't stop until he gets what he wants." "What does he want from me?" the mother asked, confusion lacing her voice. "It's not just about you. It's about your daughter too," the woman said softly. "He believes you hold the key to something that could give him immense power. Something from your past that he thinks will help him achieve his goals." The mother's mind raced, trying to piece together the fragments of her life that had led her to this moment. "I don't understand. What could I possibly have that would be of any interest to him? You're connected to people who have resources, influence. He sees you as a way to access that power. And he'll stop at nothing to get it." The weight of her words settled heavily on the mother. "But I'm just a mother, trying to protect my daughter. I don't want any part of this." "I know. But sometimes we don't get to choose our battles. He's already involved you, whether you wanted it or not." The mother felt a surge of determination rise within her. "Then I won't let him win. I'll fight. I'll protect my daughter at all costs." "Good," the woman said, her tone softening. "That's the spirit we need. But we must be smart about it. He's dangerous and unpredictable." As they sat in the dim light, formulating their plan, the mother felt a sense of resolve building inside her. "What's our next move?" "We need to gather information, find out what he's planning, and expose him. But first, we need to rest and recharge. It's going to be a long fight." Hours passed, the darkness settling around them as they shared their stories, growing closer in the process. The mother realized that she wasn't alone anymore. With this woman by her side, they stood a chance against the looming threat. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the silence, a bang on the door that sent a jolt of fear through the mother. "He's found us," she whispered, panic rising. The woman motioned for silence, her eyes darting around the room. "Stay quiet. We need to assess the situation." The banging continued louder now, accompanied by muffled voices. "Open up. We know you're in there." "Who is it?" the mother asked, her heart racing. "Police," a voice called. "We need you to open the door." The mother exchanged a glance with the woman, uncertainty flooding her mind. Should we trust them? The woman hesitated, her expression troubled. It could be a trap, but we can't stay here forever. Maybe we can use it to our advantage, the mother suggested, her mind racing. If they're here, we can expose him. All right, the woman agreed. Let's do it. But we have to be careful. Taking a deep breath, the mother approached the door, her heart pounding. I'm coming out, she called, her voice steady, despite the fear gripping her. As she opened the door, the officers rushed in, their expressions serious. We need to secure the area. Are you all right? One of them asked, scanning the room. We're fine, the mother replied, her voice unwavering. But we need to talk about what's happening. There's a man who's been threatening us. The officers exchanged glances, their demeanor shifting. We've been trying to track him down. He's dangerous, one of them said. The woman stepped forward. You have to understand, he's not just a criminal. He has connections, and he's been pulling strings from the shadows. What do you mean? An officer asked, frowning. He's been manipulating events, using people for his gain. We need your help to expose him, the mother urged, her voice rising with urgency. Why should we trust you? The officer asked, skepticism lacing his tone. Because I have something he wants, the mother said, her eyes fierce. And I won't let him have it. Not without a fight. The officers nodded, their resolve hardening. We'll do what we can, but we need more information. You have to be honest with us. The mother took a deep breath, steeling herself. I will. But time is running out. He'll come for us again. They quickly began formulating a plan, combining their strengths to confront the threat that loomed over them. As they prepared to fight back, a feeling of solidarity surged within the mother. For the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of hope. Hours turned into days as they strategized, gathering evidence against the man who had haunted her past. The stakes were high, and the tension thickened with every passing moment. Each encounter brought new revelations, and they uncovered a network of corruption that reached farther than they had imagined. But just when it seemed like they were gaining ground, the unexpected happened. A report came in. The man had been found dead, a victim of his own scheming. The news sent shockwaves through the team, leaving them grappling with the implications. What does this mean? The woman asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. Is this over? The mother felt a chill run down her spine. No, this doesn't feel right. He was too clever to let himself get caught like this. As they delved deeper into the investigation, they uncovered a shocking truth. The man's death was a faade. He had faked his own demise to escape their pursuit, leaving behind a trail of chaos and destruction. The mother's heart sank as she realized they were still in danger. He's out there, plotting his next move, she said, her voice filled with determination. We can't let him take us down. Their fight took on a new urgency as they worked tirelessly to unravel the web of deceit he had spun. The tension escalated as they raced against the clock, knowing that their enemy was still lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Days turned into weeks as they followed leads and pieced together the puzzle. The fear was always present, but so was the determination to protect their futures. The mother felt empowered as she learned more about the world her enemy operated in, discovering strengths she never knew she had. And then, just when they thought they had a lead that would take them to him, another twist emerged. The woman revealed that she had been connected to him in the past, a reluctant ally in his schemes, forced to play a role she despised. Why didn't you tell me? The mother asked, hurt flooding her voice. I didn't want you to see me as part of that world, the woman replied, tears glistening in her eyes. I wanted to protect you and your daughter. I thought I could help you without dragging you into my past. I can't trust you, the mother said, her voice strained. I understand, the woman whispered, looking away. But please believe that I've changed. I want to help you fight against him. The mother's heart ached as she weighed the options. Could she truly trust this woman after everything that had happened? But deep down, she knew they were in this together, whether they liked it or not. We need to confront him, she said finally. Together, they devised a plan to draw him out, using the connections they had established to gather intelligence. The tension was palpable as they prepared for the confrontation, knowing that everything could change in an instant. The night of the showdown arrived, and the air was thick with anticipation. They set the trap, luring him into a location they had carefully chosen. The mother's heart raced as they waited, every sound amplified in the stillness. When he finally appeared, the atmosphere shifted. "You thought you could outsmart me?" he taunted, stepping into the light. "You've been playing a dangerous game." The woman stood beside the mother, ready to fight. "This ends now. You can't manipulate us any longer." His laughter echoed in the darkness, sending chills down their spines. "You think you can stop me? You're nothing without me." "No," the mother said, her voice rising with strength. "We are more than you'll ever understand. We've taken back our power." As the confrontation escalated, the tension reached a breaking point. They fought with everything they had, drawing on their collective strength and resolve. The clash was intense, filled with moments of desperation and determination as they battled against the man who had haunted their lives. In a stunning twist, just when it seemed like the battle would turn in the man's favor, the woman revealed her hidden strength. With a swift move, she knocked him off balance, allowing the mother to seize the moment and confront him directly. "This is for everyone you've hurt," the mother shouted, her voice fierce. With a final push, they managed to subdue him, forcing him to his knees. As the police arrived, they apprehended him, a look of disbelief on his face. The mother felt a rush of relief wash over her, knowing they had finally triumphed over the darkness that had overshadowed their lives. But just when it seemed like the battle was won, another unexpected twist emerged. The police revealed that the man had connections deep within the force, a network of corruption that extended far beyond their comprehension. "You've only scratched the surface," one of the officers warned, his expression grave. "He's just a pawn in a much larger game." The realization hit the mother like a punch to the gut. "What does that mean for us?" "It means the fight isn't over," the officer said, his voice steady. "But you've done something incredible. You've exposed a part of the truth." As they stood in the aftermath of the confrontation, the mother felt a renewed sense of purpose. The battle had been hard fought, but it was just the beginning of a much larger war. "We'll keep fighting," she vowed, looking at the woman beside her. "For ourselves, for our future." And as they walked away from the chaos, hand in hand, the mother felt a sense of hope rising within her. The journey ahead would be difficult, but she was ready to face it with unwavering strength. Together, they would continue to uncover the truth, dismantling the web of deceit that had entangled their lives for far too long. With each step, they moved closer to freedom, determined to reclaim their lives and protect what mattered most. And though the road ahead was uncertain, the mother knew they had the power to forge their destiny, breaking free from the chains of the past once and for all. The air outside was cool, a refreshing contrast to the heated confrontation they had just endured. The mother glanced at the woman by her side, her heart still racing. They had faced their enemy and emerged victorious, but the weight of what lay ahead loomed heavily on them both. As they walked away from the chaos, they couldn't shake the feeling that their battle was far from over. Days turned into weeks as the aftermath of their confrontation unfolded. News of the man's arrest rippled through the community, casting shadows on those who had supported his schemes. The mother knew they had made significant strides, but the realization that the corruption ran deeper than they had anticipated left her feeling unsettled. Back at home, the mother and her daughter found solace in their new routine. They began to reclaim the life that had been stolen from them, filling their days with laughter and shared moments. The daughter thrived in school, her creativity shining brighter than ever. The mother, feeling empowered by their victory, started volunteering at the local community center, using her experience to help others facing similar challenges. She became a mentor, sharing her journey with those who had felt lost, just as she once had. But beneath the surface of her newfound joy, the mother couldn't shake the nagging doubt. What if the network of corruption had roots that reached further than they had imagined? What if the man they had confronted was merely a distraction from the real danger? The questions lingered in her mind, each day amplifying the anxiety she had fought so hard to suppress. One evening, while sorting through old documents, the mother stumbled upon a file that contained details about the man's operations. The pages were filled with names, addresses, and dates connections that painted a picture of the network they had only begun to uncover. She felt a mix of dread and determination surge within her. It was time to delve deeper. The following days were spent in a whirlwind of research and phone calls. With the help of the woman, who had proved to be a valuable ally. They began tracing the connections the man had used to build his empire. They scoured social media, examined financial records, and pieced together the puzzle, driven by a sense of purpose that grew stronger with each revelation. As they unearthed more information, the mother began to see a pattern. The man had been working with a group that extended into the heart of local politics, manipulating decisions and stifling dissent. They had created a facade of legitimacy, but underneath lay a web of deceit and exploitation. The realization sent chills down her spine. They had to act, and they had to act fast. Together, the mother and the woman developed a plan to expose the corruption. They organized a meeting with a few trusted friends and allies, who had also been affected by the man's actions. The group met in a small cafe, the air buzzing with tension, as they shared their stories and formed a collective strategy. Each person had a unique experience, but their common goal united them: a desire to bring the truth to light. The night before their first public meeting, the mother found herself restless. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the events of the past few months in her mind. She thought about her daughter, about how far they had come, and how much they had fought for their lives. Would they be safe? Would exposing the truth put them in danger again? The next day, the cafe was filled with nervous energy. People filled the small space, each one sharing their own experience with the man's deceit. The mother stood before the group, her heart racing as she prepared to speak. "We've all been affected by this corruption, and it's time to take a stand. We owe it to ourselves and to those who have suffered in silence." As she spoke, she felt a wave of support wash over her. The faces in the crowd nodded, their expressions reflecting her determination. They shared ideas, strategies, and resources, each person contributing to the growing momentum of the movement. The atmosphere shifted from fear to empowerment, a palpable sense of unity filling the room. Over the next few weeks, they organized rallies, created social media campaigns, and met with local journalists eager to uncover the truth. The mother found herself in front of cameras, sharing her story with a passion that surprised even her. With each passing day, the movement gained traction, drawing attention from the community and beyond. But the deeper they delved, the more dangerous the situation became. They began receiving threats, anonymous letters warning them to back off. The mother felt the familiar pangs of fear creeping back in, but she pushed them aside. She had come too far to turn back now. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, she received an unexpected phone call. It was a detective from the police department, someone who had been following the case closely. "We've been monitoring the network you're uncovering," he said, his tone serious. "We're gathering evidence, but we need your help to take this further. Your testimony could be crucial." Her heart raced. This was the opportunity they needed. The mother agreed to meet the detective the next day, feeling a mix of hope and trepidation. As she hung up the phone, she felt a sense of purpose igniting within her. The next day, the mother met with the detective in a small, discreet office. They discussed the evidence she had gathered, the connections she had uncovered, and the names that had emerged. The detective listened intently, taking notes and asking questions. Together, they devised a plan to present their findings to the authorities, aiming to dismantle the network that had plagued their community for far too long. The day of the presentation arrived, and the tension was palpable. The mother stood in front of a panel of officials, her heart pounding, as she prepared to share the story that had become her life's mission. As she spoke, she felt the weight of her journey pressing down on her. This was not just about her, it was about everyone who had suffered in silence. When she finished, silence hung in the air. The officials exchanged glances, the gravity of her testimony settling in. The detective stood beside her, reinforcing the importance of their findings. Finally, one of the officials spoke up. "Thank you for your courage. We will take immediate action." With that, the mother felt a glimmer of hope. The fight was far from over, but they were making progress. They had exposed the corruption, and now it was time for the authorities to take action. In the following weeks, the momentum continued to build. The authorities launched a full investigation, and as more evidence emerged, the network began to unravel. The mother felt a sense of relief wash over her, knowing that they were finally on the path to justice. As the investigations unfolded, the mother continued to focus on her daughter and the life they were rebuilding. They spent weekends exploring the nearby parks, creating new memories that overshadowed the darkness of the past. The laughter of her daughter echoed in the air, a reminder of the love and hope that fueled her every step. Then one evening, as they were preparing dinner, her daughter approached her with a serious expression. "Mom, do you think we'll ever be completely safe?" The question hung in the air, heavy with uncertainty. The mother knelt down, meeting her daughter's gaze. "I believe that we are safe now, and we have to keep fighting to stay safe. We've shown that we can stand up against those who hurt us. And as long as we stick together, we will always find a way to protect our family." Her daughter nodded, a spark of understanding shining in her eyes. "I want to help too. Can I be part of the movement?" The mother smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "Of course, sweetheart. You can help by sharing our story, by being a voice for those who are still silent." They spent the rest of the evening brainstorming ideas for a community project that would educate others about standing up against corruption. As the months passed, the community began to heal. The efforts of the mother and her allies sparked change, leading to new policies and protections for those affected by corruption. The local news featured stories of resilience, showcasing the bravery of those who had come forward. The mother felt a sense of pride swell within her as she saw the impact they were making. But as they celebrated their victories, the mother remained vigilant. She continued to attend community meetings, listening to the concerns of her neighbors, and advocating for justice. The fear that had once consumed her transformed into a fierce determination to protect those around her. One day, as she was volunteering at the community center, she received a call from the detective. "We've made significant progress, but there are still a few key players in the network we need to catch. We believe they might be planning something big." The mother's heart raced. This was the moment they had been preparing for, the culmination of their efforts to bring down the corruption that had infiltrated their lives. She agreed to assist, knowing that this was their chance to put an end to the nightmare once and for all. They organized a sting operation, gathering intelligence and coordinating with law enforcement to catch the remaining members of the network. The mother felt a mix of anxiety and excitement as they prepared for the operation. It was a culmination of all the work they had done together, and she was determined to see it through. The night of the operation arrived, and tension hung in the air as they set their plan into motion. The mother watched as the team moved with precision, their hearts united by a common purpose. They had fought for their truth, and now it was time to bring justice to those who had caused so much pain. As the operation unfolded, the air crackled with anticipation. They monitored the situation from a safe distance, and as the evidence gathered, it became clear that they were closing in on the remaining players in the network. The adrenaline coursed through the mother's veins, a mix of fear and determination propelling her forward. Finally, after what felt like hours, they received the news they had been waiting for. The remaining members of the network had been apprehended. The mother felt tears welling in her eyes as she absorbed the weight of the moment. They had done it. They had taken down the network that had plagued their lives. In the following days, the community celebrated their victory. There were rallies, speeches, and gatherings as people came together to honor the resilience of those who had fought against corruption. The mother stood before a crowd, her daughter by her side, sharing their story of courage and strength. As she spoke, she felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. They had turned their pain into purpose, transforming their struggles into a rallying cry for change. They had become advocates for justice, proving that even in the darkest of times, hope could shine through. After the speeches, the mother looked at her daughter, who beamed with pride. "Mom, I want to keep helping people. I want to make sure no one has to go through what we did." The mother's heart swelled with love. "You will, sweetheart. Together, we'll keep fighting for what's right. We'll continue to be a voice for the voiceless." They embraced tightly, feeling the warmth of their connection, a bond forged in struggle and strengthened by love. As time passed, the mother continued to reflect on their journey. They had faced unimaginable challenges, but through their perseverance, they had not only found justice, but also a renewed sense of purpose. The scars of their past remained, but they no longer defined them. Instead, they were reminders of their strength, resilience, and ability to create change. The community thrived, united by the fight for justice and the recognition of their collective power. The mother and her daughter remained at the forefront, leading initiatives to educate others about standing up against corruption and the importance of community engagement. Years later, as the sun set over the horizon, the mother sat on their porch, watching her daughter play in the yard. She marveled at how far they had come, how they had transformed their pain into purpose. The laughter of her daughter filled the air, a beautiful reminder of the hope they had fought to reclaim. In that moment, the mother realized that their journey had not only been about confronting the past, but also about building a brighter future. They had learned the importance of community, of standing together in the face of adversity. Their story was one of resilience, love, and the unwavering belief that change was possible. As the stars twinkled above, the mother felt a sense of peace wash over her. She had found her voice, and in doing so, she had empowered others to find theirs. Together, they had created a legacy of strength and hope that would endure for generations to come. In their hearts, they carried the understanding that while the fight for justice would continue, they would never face it alone. And so, the mother and her daughter embarked on a new chapter, one filled with promise, love, and the unwavering belief that together they could change the world.